Hello, 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 YouTube. How you guys doing today? Welcome to today's episode of Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl Ebony. We getting on down in our conversation this week, talking about self-care 103, self-development. And today's conversation will focus on how to handle those I just can't. I just don't want to. I just don't feel like it days when you're in that proportion or in that progression of developing who you are now in life and how to get through these uncharted waters and not be stuck. Because sometimes we can get stuck in the I can't, I don't want to, I don't feel like it, and then we don't move forward. Hence, why your girl is coming as real as can be on a day like today. Because believe it or not, I ain't feel like this today. But, it is something that I set out to do. It was a goal that I set for myself. And even when I may not feel like it, someone may be on the receiving end and may need it. And so today's Real Talk conversation, Self-Care 103, self-development, is about to be as real as it can get this week. So, of course, before we get started, our custom-made shirt is very old. I don't even remember when we made the shirt, or I know my husband made this shirt, but it's been a while. And you can see the Nike check is upside down, and Nike's logo is usually just do it. But this says I just can't. And we have those days. We have days where we just can't. We just don't want to. We just don't feel like it. And it's okay to have those days. Our feature bag for today, before we get started, is just my fanny pack. My petite fanny pack. I think you guys have seen this one before. But this is just what was the bag for today. And then we get down to, see, how was I don't know how I was doing that thing. But today we got on our Air Max. Little olive green, little Air Max. And it could almost be misconstrued that I might be dressed for a literal fight today and prepared for war. But that's not necessarily the case at all. And so jumping right in to today's conversation, guys, there will be some days where you truly will not feel like doing anything. And when it comes to your self-care, if you have to maintain and manage and keep up with a 5-day a week or 6-day a week, 7 days a week for some people, a job, you've got to figure out when you can schedule time to rest. You've got to figure out when you can schedule time to rejuvenate, take care of yourself, and then just kind of deal with those I ain't really feeling it days. Those days where I know I got some stuff I need to do. I know it's some places I need to be. I know it's some things that I have to, do. If you're still in that superwoman or superman stage in your mind, there's some days where you literally have to hang up your cape and just be. You can't go and not take some time out to literally rest and or say, I'm not feeling it today. We oftentimes, on our jobs, we are given sick leave or vacation time. I am a personal advocate for mental health days. There are just some days where I'm not sick and I'm not on any type of vacation, but I'm just not feeling like the workplace today. Or there's some days where the family function is going on and all your family is around and everybody's doing this and going there, but you just don't feel like it. It's okay to say, I don't want to participate. Like today, I'm just in a funk. I don't need to be around people. I don't need nobody trying to guess what's wrong with me or trying to make something be wrong with me when there's not. I don't need anybody out here trying to diagnose me or say what's going on. You literally sometimes have to use isolation as a part of your preservation. And I'm not saying go out here and be a hermit and don't never communicate and talk to people, but sometimes you literally just have to shut everything down, your phone, whatever. I'm telling you, you guys, you need to try it. Cut your phone off, just get in a space and do nothing. And it takes a lot for a lot of us to do nothing because we're always doing something. And so in developing this new way of life for you and developing new boundaries and being happy in the skin that you're in, loving who you are, being all of those things to yourself that you haven't been before we started this self-care journey, today I want you to know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not want to talk about it right now. It's okay to say, hey, can we come back to that? Just don't leave people in limbo because you've left so much on yourself that you don't even know how to communicate when you literally need a break. Sometimes you don't want to talk. Sometimes you don't want to hear the extra fluff that goes with something. And it's okay to say that. I've learned that sometimes when communicating with people, I don't always get straight to the point. So when I want somebody to get straight to the point where they're talking to me, I now have to remember that sometimes when I'm talking, I do, explain things that may be way outside of the scope of whatever it is we're talking about. But, to me, it's imperative to say this part, or an imperative is just a fancy way to say it's important to me to get out the details of the story that you may or may not want to hear. And so I had to learn to be patient with other people when they do it. One of the biggest things in self-development is to be able to take a strong, hard look at you. And that's going to be hard for a lot of folks to do because 9 times out of 10, we know the remedy for everybody, but we don't know the remedy for ourselves. We got a solution and an answer for everybody else, but when it comes to us, we stuck on stupid sometimes, or we just stuck because we literally don't know what we want to do, where we want to go, how we want to do it, who we want to be with, what we want to do, that next day. And that's because we haven't taken the time to really, just stop and do nothing. Let me think about what's really going on here. Let me think about what's really important to me. Let me bring this stuff in. Let me just lay down. And all of these racing thoughts that are in my mind, let me just calm them down. I'm all about naps. I'm all about a nap. When we were little and you had to take one, I watched my granny boy fight taking a nap all the time. Baby, if you let there be a few good hours after the workday to just lay down for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Now, you got to be careful with this at the end of your day because, if you're going to take a nap at 6 o'clock, you need to make sure you get up at 8 and do everything else that you need to do. Or you're going to mess around and wake up at midnight and you at 8, you hadn't done anything, or you got to set your clock, those kinds of things. But some of the stuff that we used to do to rejuvenate ourselves, you gotta think about what it is that you used to do, what works for you. Some of the coping strategies that I've shared with you guys that works for me. I love to listen to music. It doesn't matter what kind of music it is. So sometimes I just cut everything off, put my headphones in, and I put both of them in so I can hear it, feel it, and it just does something for me. So those are the things that you have to find in this development stage. What will work for you? If I'm sitting and writing, in my journal sometimes, just writing out what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, what it sounds like, that works for me. And sometimes I can go back and read it and be like, man, what was I on that day? But I captured how I was feeling and what was going on. And what this helps you do as you start developing, what will work for you, you will begin to develop a recognition of what triggers the symptoms of your mental health diagnosis or your substance diagnosis or addiction diagnosis or whatever it may be. You start to see what triggers you. Remember, we talked about internal triggers, external triggers, because now you're paying attention to you. And everybody else sees this stuff about you. But if you don't stop and pay attention to you, then you will never see it. There have been things that, I've been told about myself over the years and just whenever. And it was hard for me to accept it because I didn't see myself in that light and I didn't take the time to do anything self-related. And so I'm having these aha moments years later, like, dang, that's what they meant when they said that. Because we don't look at ourselves as much as we should. And, we've been raised, if you grew up in Christian homes and spiritual homes, you're raised that taking care of you and self-care and all of that stuff is selfish. It's not. It is not. Taking some time out for you is necessary. It's vital even if you don't do that. How in the world can you keep pouring out of a vessel that nothing is ever poured back into? And during this development time is when you start developing these phases and these different ways of how the remainder of your life is going to go. You've looked at where you've been and what got you where you are now. And in this self-development stage, you have determined or at least started trying to see where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? And if you aren't there yet, that should still be your focus. Where do I want to go from here? If I'm working at a job that I've been on for 15 years, do I have 15 more? Or how many of them more so I can retire? If I'm on a job and it's not the job that I want to be on, is it too late to start over? The answer is no. If you're in a relationship that is not being nurtured both ways, or if you're in a friendship that's not being nurtured both ways, it's time to have those hard conversations about what will work for you. If you are lucky enough and blessed enough to be in a relationship where the other person is trying to work through what was troubling them about you, be appreciative. Let your partner know, look, thank you for dealing with me and my mess, because I didn't even realize I was in a mess. Thank you for staying around and sticking around when I didn't even realize who and what I was. Be appreciative to those folks. You got to give people their flowers while they're living. And sometimes it can feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it can feel, like, dang, I don't even know how to say I'm sorry for what I put you through. But I know that where I'm at now, I'm not trying to do that, moving forward. We have to say that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I've always told y'all, I kind of refer to myself a little bit as gangster girly, but gangsters need love too. Gangsters out here, you know what I'm saying? They looking for love too. That's why they in gangs or whatever. I mean, people need to feel a certain sense of, you want me around, you want me here, I'm appreciated. We need that. And I used to be big on saying, I don't need a pat on the back. And what I meant from that is I don't need to hear, all the time, but I actually need to hear some of the time. I want to hear it. But if you put it out there that you don't need a pat on the back, guess what people around you going to do? They're not going to pat you on your back. And then after a while, you're going to start feeling unappreciated. But you put it out there that you didn't want the pat on the back. So when we vocalize things that we don't want and we start recognizing in this development of who we are now we got to come back and say, hey, look, dog, I know I told you way back when I ain't need a pat on the back. But now your girl want to at least know from here to there that, that you at least appreciate the effort that I'm putting in. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a job, you know, you giving out bonuses and you recognize an employee of the month and things like that. All of those things are needed. You know, I've gone through a lot with jobs. You guys hear me focus on jobs a lot. And the biggest thing with me with jobs is that if you work anywhere for 40 plus hours, those people become part of your family, whether you like it or not. You spend more time with them than you do at home and with your family. And so you're interacting with a certain group of people, no matter how long you've been on this job, what it is that you do. At some point, all staff comes together and interact. And I could think on each job how, you know, there's still some people that I will communicate with, whether I'm still employed at this place or not. And then it becomes, you know, what was it about that person that was genuine or that stuck with me or that went on? And personally for me, it's the reaching out. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have to always be the one to reach out and somebody reaches out to me, somebody, you know, checks on me, that's real big in my book because I'm always checking on people. I'm the encourager. You know what I'm saying? If you know me personally, I'm your hype man. I'm your hype girl or whatever you want to call me. I am a true cheerleader to people and an encourager. And it's hard when, you know, you look around for who's going to encourage the encourager, and it's always the same people that are there to encourage me. It's never, you know, if I'm encouraging 50 people, I can depend on 5 to reciprocate or to encourage me back. That's when you got to start developing some new boundaries and different things for how you go out here and maneuver and move. And it's strictly up to you. But on them days that you just cannot do it, you can't give it, you don't have it in you to give, you know, nothing's going on by virtue of what or who you normally are, I'm learning to stop and be in that. My sister, my god sister, but she's my cousin, and she's definitely more of a sister than a god sister. But she told me a couple of months ago, give yourself some grace. You give everybody grace, but you don't give yourself any grace, because I'm still apologizing for things that don't warrant or need an apology. You know, if I forget to do something, I don't have to say I'm sorry for it. Hey, I forgot to do it. And, you know, I'll try to do better next time. I shouldn't be saying I'm sorry, because if it's not something that I was sorry for, you know, we apologize for things that we don't need to apologize for. And so she's like, look, it's okay. No need to apologize. Give yourself some grace. You have a life too, so you can't be everything to everybody all the time. And those things, those, you know, those words, all of those things come back and they lift me up and encourage me to keep moving forward. And one thing about the goals that we make at these stages in life, they need to be SMART goals. SMART in being, we'll go over the SMART acronym. Y'all know I'm looking for my clicker, and I don't know what I did with it, but at any rate, SMART goals, attainable goals. They have to be, you know, specific to what you want to do, measurable for what it is that you're trying to do. Things that, you know, you're able to accomplish without or without anyone trying to hold you back. Okay, so I'm over the clicker now. And it's in my pocket. Anyway, see what I'm saying? That's the kind of day it's been. And it's okay to have that kind of day. It's okay. I'm here to tell you, real life happens to real people. Good people have bad days, and bad people can become good people and have good days when they choose to do it. But when you just can't do it, you can't muster it up, you can't fake it, you can't, you know, pretend, you can't, hey, I just ain't got it in me today. And I need, you know, those around me who truly love and care about me to understand it. I just can't be. And I really struggled with being able to do that. And that's why, when you guys hear me talk about my husband and my relationship and the yin and the yang, he told me years ago, look, be yourself. They got days where they ain't answering you and ain't talking to you and ain't want to be around you, and people okay telling you how they feel. You need to tell them. And he would tell me, it kills me to sit here and watch you go through this stuff with these same people. And so now if I don't want to pick up my phone, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm not working. If I don't want to hear what's going on, the conversation, if I don't want to be a part of it, I remove myself. It's simple. It's real, real simple. And, we make the simplest things so hard when we start considering everything but ourselves. And so in self-development, in learning to care about the person that you've looked in the mirror and fallen in love with all over again, the person that you have worked to become self-aware of who's around you. Now you're developing this person to be okay with everything about yourself, and the things that you're not okay with, start making the change that works for you. Not the change that other people try to tell you, but the change that works for you. You recognize that you needed to make a change, so begin to work on it. And that's all you can do. Leave the rest up to doing whatever it's going to do. But stop, going out here trying to do things when you simply don't want to, or you just can't. You don't have it in you. I can't have this conversation today. I can't talk to y'all about this today. I can't even listen to all this that you got going on today. You got to tell me straight to the point. And it's ways to say it, hopefully, without the other person taking it personally. However, if I still say to you, look, I don't mean no harm when I say this to you. It ain't got nothing to do with you, but today I just can't hear the long drawn out story, or today I can't deal with you lying. Today I can't deal with you telling me this and you told me something different the other day. Today I just can't. So, just say what we need to say and go on. I just can't do it today. How they receive it can no longer be your problem or an issue for you, because no matter what you say to soften it or water it down or make it sound nice, they still gonna find a way to be offended if they're gonna be offended. That's their choice. Speak your truth. And in self-development, by now you should know what your truths are and how to speak them and how and what to do with them. So, this week is just a trying week. And right here at the end of it, what I wanted to do today, where I wanted to go today, I just couldn't, because I needed to go here. I needed for you guys to know that it's okay for things when they don't go according to plan, they can still go. It might not look like what we wanted it to look like, but you can still do what you set out to do and do what you need to do. Just communicate that. That's it. Hey, like today, I don't want to talk. If you need something, send me a text, send me an email. If you have the autonomy to do that. Now, if you're on your job and talking is part of your job, you got to do what you got to do. But the thing of self-development is pulling off all these different masks and different faces and facades that we put on in different situations, and just be who we are in the settings that we're in, and be as respectful and courteous and kind, because remember I told y'all, my grandma said, don't come for me in a manner that I ain't seeing for you. My grandma said that way before I ever saw it on the internet. And what she meant by that was, if she would call our name, and we said, huh? To my grandma, you didn't say ma'am or yes ma'am. To her, you coming for her. You know what I'm saying? It was a level of respect. So if I ain't send for you, don't come for me in a way that I didn't send for you. It's ways to let folks know, hey, wait a minute now. That sounds like you got a little bit bass in your voice. We matching, what we doing. And at that we matching tones or what it is that we're doing, because the misconception of it all can lead to so much other stuff. And mentally, who wants to go there? We're tired. Man, I'm tired of overthinking. I'm tired of trying to figure stuff out. I'm just tired. And when you reach a place of just being tired, it's okay. Take a minute to rejuvenate. Take a second to do those things that you need to do for you. And if you have a significant other, a partner, a husband, a wife, or whatever, it's called, I have a husband, you go to that person and say, hey, look, I don't know what's going on with me today, but this is kind of how I'm feeling, and this is what I got going on. So if I come off a certain way, go ahead and stop me so I can let you know, no, that's not what it is. And I'm sorry that it sounds like that, but this is just where I am. Because when we go back to pretending again, when we start acting as though and it's not how we feel, we become the fake and phony person. The people around us are not fake and phony. We are. When we become versions of ourselves, yet again, that we work so hard to develop, but we let everything and everybody else around us water us down and talk us out of it, then now you're giving away who you are, who you work so hard to get back to. It's you, baby. Take care of you. Guard you like you do everybody else. I guarantee you it's worth it. You have to develop that sense of protection so that you can start preserving yourself. So, if this is your first time joining me for Real Talk Therapy 101, my name is Ebony Campbell, and I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor and a certified peer support specialist in the state of North Carolina, and I'm currently working on becoming a licensed clinical social worker. My ultimate goal is to become a therapist, a full-time therapist that can not only do substance abuse counseling, which is what I'm certified to do now, but to also help with the mental health, because I would like for individuals that come and have a conversation with me to have a holistic approach to their mental health when you're coming to see me. But in that right now, I am contracted with some agencies doing some things, and like I said, if there's some places or things you guys need to know about, you can always comment. We have a Instagram page. You can go on and send me a message if it's something that you need. And even if it's not in the state of North Carolina, I'm okay with helping you find that, because here on Real Talk Therapy 101, we're all in our own boat. We all have our own lane to travel. We all have our own path. We all have our own purpose. And mentally, we get stuck. And so when we get stuck, what we want you guys to know from this channel is it's okay to have a conversation with somebody about what you're stuck about. But make sure the person that you're having that conversation with is either willing to get in this boat with you and help you travel through these uncharted waters, or they're willing to listen as you try to sound out what it is that you need to do. And whether you make it or not. Remember, we talked about failure not being an option. Failure is an option. If I don't get it done, I failed. And that's okay, because I can try again. Failure doesn't have to be a negative connotation. It's negative when you make it negative. And failing is the opportunity to keep doing it till you get it right, especially if it's what you really want to do. If you out here doing something because you see somebody else doing it, it ain't gonna work out for you, because you chasing somebody else and what their purpose is. You got to tap into your own. And when you tap into your own, understand the part that you want to play in that, and then make it happen. But you got to have those conversations on what will work for you, because the strategies that work for me, remember, may not work for you. And so in self-development, that's what you got to start figuring out. What works and what doesn't work. And that's what we do here on Real Talk Therapy 101. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like, comment, and share. And if, like I said, if it's your first time joining us, we look forward to seeing you back tomorrow. And for my regulars, thank you guys so much for being with me from day one to this one. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And as we prepare to take this thing to the ends of the earth, we're going to go and we're going to do it together. So You guys have a good night, and I will see you all on Real Talk Therapy 101 tomorrow. Thank you.